The year 2008 has brought us many great games, but only one game can be called Game of the Year. A game worthy of the title Game of the Year must have the following characteristics. 1. It must be innovative. 2. It must be a game that anyone can get into. And 3. Above all else, it must be fun. Many of the games that have come out this year do share those qualities, but there is only one that comes to mind when I think of Game of the Year. And the game I choose as Game of the Year is none other than Bionic Commando Rearmed, which is available for the PS3 and Xbox 360. Bionic Commando Rearmed is supposed to be a remake of the 1988 NES classic Bionic Commando, which was produced by Capcom. However, this is more than your basic remake. This game enhances the original Bionic Commando tenfold in all areas, including audio, visual, and gameplay-wise. First thing you'll notice right away is the huge jump in the graphics department. The game does feature a nice arrangement of colors from the original Bionic Commando while still maintaining that next generation glossy look. I absolutely love how they did the audio for this game. The sound effects are clear, crisp, and you can tell what everything is supposed to be judging from what it sounds like. I also love what they did with the soundtrack. They kept the original 8-bit songs and just added modern instruments to them for a rhythm section and a bunch of other cool stuff, but the soundtrack is definitely one of the highlights of this game. Where the game really shines most importantly is gameplay. This is by far one of the most fun games I've played in a long time. And veterans of the game will not have much of a problem because the control scheme is very similar, except there are a few enhancements. For example, you can eventually pick up grenades and throw them by pressing square on the PS3 controller, and X will shoot your gun, whichever gun you happen to pick at that point in time, and circle will allow you to use your grappling hook. Veterans of the game will know, however, that your character can't jump. So, use your grappling hook to do all your platforming. Now, beginners might have a problem with this, but don't worry. This game will get better and better for you as you keep playing. It becomes easier and easier to actually control your character. In the original Bionic Commando, you could always go to these neutral camps to grab items and stuff like that. However, in the new Bionic Commando, these camps are no longer neutral. They are now your camp. And not only that, but if you press the shoot button or whatever, they won't all attack you, much like they would in the original Bionic Commando. While in the Allied camp, players can go into a training room and work on their skills. The sessions are timed and ranked, so basically whoever gets the fastest time will get a nice rank of either 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, or 2 stars, or 1 star. Also, these scores can be submitted online. In the original Bionic Commando, there weren't really too many real bosses. Basically, you just go into this room, blow up a generator of sorts, and just kill anyone who gets in your way. Except for the final level where you face the final boss, obviously. But in this game, there are real bosses. And the bosses are very fun. They have cool little scenes of dialogue in the very beginning, which can also be really funny. But the boss in this game all have patterns that you must figure out in order to actually win. Players may eventually come into a room that has a large computer. These large computers will allow the character to either A, contact his home base, or B, he can hack the enemy system, which will give him a hint on either how to defeat the boss or on some goodies that are in later levels. Now, hacking in this game is really cool because what it does is it puts you in this little puzzle where you're inside a giant cube and you have to navigate this sphere into a green cube, and once you do that, you hack the system and then you get your hint. Hacking is also really important because it'll give you extra bonuses such as power-ups or extra points and health if you really need it. Just like in the original Bionic Commando, there's a map screen that you can use to pick your level. Now, occasionally you'll run into a convoy that'll force you to play the other gameplay mechanic that is featured in this game, which is a vertical scrolling shooter similar to that of Commando or Ikari Warriors. Now, basically, these vertical scrolling levels will continue until you get to the very end where there's a giant truck that you have to blow up, basically. Then a helicopter will come and grab you, and you can continue on with your game. Now, some of you may be asking, why is this my choice for Game of the Year? Well, the answer is kind of simple, really. How many games can you name between 1988 and now that have a gameplay very similar to Bionic Commando? None. I can't think of any. I mean, the closest stretch I could come up with would be the Legend of Zelda games featuring the hookshot. And even then, that's still a far stretch. The game is just as innovative now as it was back in 1988, and this enhanced version is nothing short of excellent. And this is why I name it my Game of the Year. Well, that's going to be it from me, and I hope you all have an excellent new year, and I hope that everything goes well for you in 2009, and all that jazz. So, this is IronFury saying take care.